you, Dr. Sharma, and thank you all of you all for thinking of this topic, which is in a way very close to my heart. And I would like to bring to you the journey, basically, journey, how it has happened. So let me try and share my screen, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, madam.
Oh. Let me check out. Sometimes.
Your kind permission, can I share?
Yeah, sure. That will help me because sometimes this creates problem. Last time I saw that. Yeah, that will be nice. When you're able to see this, tell me. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. And I would like to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to speak about something which really started in a very, we were just experiment, means we felt the need and we thought it should be done, but it was absolutely a new path which was to be walked through. And therefore I thought, what should I speak today? And even I discussed with Mr. Jody, I said, what do I do? So he says, maybe you should talk about the journey, how we started years back and where we are today. So basically I would cover that aspect. And I would then, Dr. Tirunarayanan, who also has been involved with this entire journey, he has walked through the path himself with us, and therefore he would be bringing you more about the technical part. But somewhere I thought it will be a nice storytelling session for me in a way, and also bring to you the highlights. So can I go on to the next slide, please? So this journey actually, can I go on to the next slide? So this journey actually started way back in 2010-12, when I was actually brought a deputation to the Indira Gandhi National Open University to set up the Center for Traditional Knowledge System. And that is when the secretary, Mrs. Jalaja, was the then secretary of Ayush. It was not a ministry then, and it was a department, and she herself was very interested in this whole thing. And we had a couple of meetings, and our vice chancellor in IGNOU, he was also one of those pillars who wanted this work to be started. And I must say that that was the time I met Mr. Anil Johri, because I come, basically my background is from the academic arena. And when I met him, until today, it's a learning process for me. So basically he's a guru and we are all shishyas walking through the path. And this was a new thing that we started learning. So as a result, giving you this brief background, we started the accreditation, the title that was suggested at that point of time. We didn't know much about the nitty-gritty details till we really started interacting with QCI. But before that, I had worked on this project. I wrote the project and submitted to the then Department of Ayush, and they were very kind. They gave a very good grant. And what was suggested that we should put the title as accreditation and certification of the prior knowledge of the Gram Vaidyas. At that point of time, I will also, while I talk, I will say how the connotation also changed, how the today what we talk of traditional healer, how the whole things changed. So initially it was thought that they have the Gram Vaidyas. That is what we thought. We should name them as Gram Vaidyas, and they're known as that, and they have a lot of prior learning, and that prior learning has to be certified. And therefore this was started as a pilot project funded by Department of Ayush. And then since IGNOU, I was in IGNOU, submitted the project. So we are the initiator and we were the certifying agency. And without Quality Council of India, we wouldn't have known the ABCD of this whole game. And we had a technical partner, that is the Foundation for the Revitalization of Local Health Traditions. So these were the three partners who worked on this and started the journey in 2010. The next slide, please. So then the project, this was a pilot project which was sanctioned, as I said, and it was to be implemented in 8 states. And in 8 states, we selected 1 district each, mostly based on where maximum number of Gram Vaidyas were known to be there. And mostly these were tribal interior districts. And therefore, there were 2 states in Northeast, Arunachal and Meghalaya. And within brackets are the districts that were selected. From East and Central region, we chose Chhattisgarh and Odisha. The districts were Korba and Mayurbhanj. From West was Gujarat, the Dang district, and Rajasthan, Udaipur district. And in South, it was Karnataka. District was Shimoga, and Tamil Nadu district was Vellore. So these were the study site areas. And what we were supposed to do, or what we were just started walking the path, was to certify people. That means what today I understand, those days even I took time to understand that we were certifying people, and therefore it would be what ISO 17024 tells us. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? No, not this one. We were on a previous slide. Yeah, thank you. So then we were certifying people, that is the traditional healers or the Gram Vaidyas. At that point of time, we had named that title, given the title, and these were person, and therefore this was personal certification. What does 1724 say is anybody can be certified provided they are competent. They may not have this competence or acquired the competence through degrees, the qualifications, but they should have the competence. And how do we know competence? That is the knowledge and the skill. And how do we sort of evaluate this knowledge and skill? Again, 17024 says somebody may acquire through education. Somebody may get it through training, work experience, self-study, or even by observation. In case of these Gram Vaidyas that we were dealing with, they would have got their knowledge and skill as a family lineage or through Guru Shishya Parampara, or even helping senior Gram Vaidya. So that is where the knowledge they had, and we needed to evaluate and certify that knowledge. And as we said, again, 1724 says that unlike education system, in education system, what do? We get a certificate, a degree, and that's it. Today, even I write as doctor because I have done my PhD and I write it lifelong. The medical doctors write it, of course. Now government says that you have to go for refreshers course and whatnot. But still here, in case of personal certification, they say that once you get a certification for your skills and knowledge, it is not lifelong. It has to be, you have to again go through the process of learning and get yourself reassessed. So that is the essence of personal certification. And the certification of the traditional healers was based on this principle. Can we go on to the next one, please? Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, the Gram Vaidya. So now what we did is I come back to this term Gram Vaidya. That means we were still calling them as Gram Vaidya, and we were working in 8 states. And therefore, this, as I talked about the personal certification, our certification of Gram Vaidya was fitting in perfectly with this concept. That means they can be fitted in because they have the knowledge and skill, and we have to have mechanisms to evaluate them. But one thing we realized while we undertook the journey, although in our project approval, it was termed as Gram Vaidya, but in some of the states, this terminology was not being accepted very easily. So we changed to traditional health practitioners. Why I mention this point is, even to write a scheme document or even to implement it, we have to undertake little nuances in it. We have to think of the people's sentiments, how people will come walk with you, and how to make them more confident. So therefore, instead of calling them Gram Vidyas, because especially in the northeastern states, in Meghalaya especially, where I was actually working for a long time, they had some reservation of being known as Gram Vidyas. So we had to have a meeting amongst the stakeholders, and then we started calling them as traditional health practitioners and THPs. So the terminology was changed, and we realized they would have no formal education. They would have acquired the competence through various means, either family traditions, Guru Shishya Parampara, self-learning, observing, and then they are giving their services. And they could have acquired their competence in any of these things, provided we can evaluate them and certify them. The next one, please. So once we started working in these 8 states, this is a slide which I'm showing from the pilot project thing. And how do we decide where to go, how to collect the statistics, how to decide what are the ailments that is most prevalent across the country. If you have seen, we had selected 8 states across the country. Now we were trying to find out the commonality of the diseases that was uniform across the country. Therefore, rapid village surveys were taken, and for this village surveys, we from door to door, this was done, selecting points according to statistics. And then we found out the various groups: tribal, non-tribal, literate, non-literate, THPs, or they're the DIEs, that is the traditional birth attendants, how they prepare the medicines, how they dispense the medicine, how many patients, as we say, they treat per month. All those details have to be taken from each of those 8 districts that we were working, and also find out what are the most common type of diseases that they are able to treat with the herbal medicines. So these were the records, the data. That is how we went and collecting. The next one, please. Next slide. And then we came to the conclusion that we will now start the certification program. And this is what we did in Gujarat, Dang district, where people were informed about this certification program either through newspapers, handouts in local languages, because they wouldn't know English or anything, because they were in the remote areas. And later on, I'm not getting into the details. Dr. Tirunarayanan will be talking to you about the process that is followed, but it's a very rigorous process. Mr. Jory has already mentioned that we have an oral interview, thinking that they're not, all of them may not be able to read or write, or even in them, they'll be doing it in their mother language. Then they have to demonstrate how they're treating, and then go to their homes and see whether how clean they are, how hygienic they are. And then we advertise. There are various processes to collect and scrutiny the applications, and finally the evaluation process has gone through. And this is like in Dang district, we received 70 applications. One was rejected right away in the scrutiny. Then 69 appeared and 55 got certified, and few were felt that few needed to be trained and finally come. So this was an overview of what we did in Dang district. I'm just randomly picking some data. Like this is in Udaipur, Rajasthan, where again you can see the different sort of most common diseases that these traditional healers were treating them. And this is how the photograph shows how they are brought and they are explained the whole process, because nobody knows, they will be doubtful. So every village, every panchayat, we had to go in the beginning, door to door, explaining to them in their own language, and also try and find out how many females were there. And luckily we found there are many female traditional healers who said that this certification will give them the respectability, because people always think female are only DIEs, but they have other knowledge also. These were the sort of statistical data that was collected during the pilot project. The next one, please. And this was done in Vellore district, where you can see Dr. Tirunarayanan was one of the leading persons who went for the evaluations. And Dr. Tirunarayanan will be speaking to you all. People would show how they were doing, and it was an elaborate process. And right in the bottom on the left, the first certifications for the pilot project was handed over to the traditional healers of Tamil Nadu by the then Pro-Vice Chancellor of IGNOU, and Dr. Tirunarayan had organized that in the Center for Traditional Medicine and Research in Chennai. We all had gone, so it was a very joyous occasion for us to give away the first certificates which was generated from the pilot project studies. The next slide, please. Again, I come back to some of the things where we just put together different, I've just put 4 states together, and I've showed what are the most common type of diseases. And then also we had to come up that not only they need to be certified, but there are many THPs who needed to be trained. So there was a clear need for certification and for training. So the scheme would have both the components later on. So this was the results of the pilot project. The next one, please. And I also said there are males and females, and there were quite a number of females we found in most of these districts in these 4 states. I have the other data, which of course I didn't put through, it would become too long, and the most common type of diseases. So this is what came out of the pilot project. The next one. Now, the results of this pilot project, we could certify 517 TCHPs. From these 2, the northeastern states, we could not proceed much because of various reasons, natural reasons, other things. So we just concentrated on the 6 states, and we could certify 517 THPs during the pilot project. And I submitted the report to the Ministry of Ayush in 2013 after doing all the accounting and everything, and it was very well appreciated. Can we go on to the next one, please? Now, these were our knowledge partners for the pilot project. You can see so many, the state level partners, the NGOs, the academic institutions, the government organizations. We had to take help of all of them to submit our report to the minister, to the Department of Ayush. That was department then, and it was very well appreciated. And our knowledge partners were Quality Council of India, and as I said, FRLHT Bangalore. They have another name, as by that time they were calling themselves Institute of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. So this is where the pilot project's report was submitted. The next one, next slide, please. So what did we get out of this? So we found tool for documentation, what we should document, what we should write, how should we inform the customers. Then how do we go about the certification of the knowledge, skills, and the services? And there is a need for skill upgradation training. That was the gap that was found when we certified 517 THPs. And then there is a continuous information and technical assistance for the, now I'm changing the terminology to TCHP. I will explain to you in my next slide, for upgradation. And the scenario at that point, this is, I'm calling around 2015-16, because the department, by that time it had become a Ministry of Ayush, and they were really interested in continuing this pilot project in a bigger way at a national level, because they felt the shortage of health workers at the PHC level. Then they realized that there are THPs available in the rural and inhospitable terrains of our country who are actually giving us the services. And if we do not take cognition of this knowledge of the THPs, they will face the erosion, and in the lack of recognition for them, they might lose interest. And therefore, it was felt, what is the possible solution? The possible solution is the certification of the THPs. This is the end result, or what came out of the pilot project. The next one, please. So therefore, based on that, necessity, the scenario, and what were the gap areas, actually it was Mr. Jory who took the bold step, I must say, and he realized what it was. And even the certified TCHPs were asking for recertification because they felt the benefit for them. QCI and FRLHT joined hands to fill up this gap and launched the national scheme of voluntary certification for traditional community healthcare providers. Here, we changed the terminology from TCHP because we realized they're mostly traditional people, they're mostly working for the community, and they are not practitioners, because there was some sort of difficulty in calling them practitioners. Even we had a lot of stakeholders in our committees who said providers would be better word, because they are not that qualified, so they should not be confused with medical practitioners. And therefore, we started calling them as traditional community healthcare providers. We had to take a lot of inputs, and then we came to this terminology. And today, this terminology is well accepted across all the multi-stakeholders of the committee, and it was launched in March 2017. Next slide, please. So this was launched. This is how the book looks like, and we go to the next one, and the partners are FRLHT and QCI. And as Dr. Anupam or even Dr. Rana has said, the scheme, they have a governing structure. There's a requirement of minimum standard of competence. But for the traditional healers, we needed to very clearly understand that what are the requirements, what are the deviations that we could accept, and how much could be accepted, like written down documents or examination. It should be oral visits. All those things had to be thought through. And then there's a very robust certification process. And finally, there is the accreditation process. And I am very glad to announce that for the TCHP, one of the PRCBs who were provisionally approved in 2019, they went in for an MPCB accreditation, and now we have an accredited PRCB for TCHPs, and they're functioning very well. The next slide, please. So as we did from the pilot project, we selected 6 domains, and the next 4 domains are also planned. We need to work on them, but the 6 domains are well established, and people at the TCHPs are being certified for these domains. The next one, please. And it was not just taken randomly. It was selected through the Rapid Village Survey. The data I've already shown to you. And what are the criteria for TCHPs to come forward for the certification? We also specified they should be minimum 28 years of age. They should have 10 years of experience for the practice. And they have to sign a code of conduct, a free prior informed consent form, the self-declaration, and everything has to be endorsed by a village panchayat or the local community, because this is the way to root out the quacks of the society, so that people should be known, they should be very, very socially responsible person, and therefore the village panchayat should endorse their applications. The next one, please. Then we have members of these traditional healers on the committees, in the steering committee and other committees also, but there also we have defined the criteria for them to become committee members, that they should be 30 years age and they should be 20 years of experience. Then wherever, if they are giving some sort of decision, they should not be giving decision for the TCHPs or for their own district. It should be that will do away with the conflict of interest, and they should be very unbiased, transparent. That is general requirement. The next one, please. And these are the how once they get certified. So therefore the certification ensures their empowerment, social responsibility, and the quality assurance. I'm not getting into the details, but I must say that after they started getting certified, many of the state governments have come forward to support them, especially in Meghalaya. They're setting up wellness center where the certified TCHPs will find place, most probably, to work there. In Tripura, the forest department has set up hubs for them. Even Chhattisgarh had given sanction fund for their recertification. So many of the state governments are also now picking up this scheme. Next one, please. I just wanted to report to you. I'm not getting into details, it will be too long, but we also followed up on the certified people who were certified in the pilot project and went to them, how and interviewed them, how their life has been. Has any change happened after they got certified? And most of them said that their wages were, they did earlier, they worked as daily laborers, but later on they're earning much more. People have set up many more things. They have actually, their life has changed and they're very, very happy, and certification has helped them. I'm not betting, I'm just showing you the photographs of the people. The next one, please. Yeah, this is one person who had got certified, and now his family, the daughters, the entire family has got into this traditional healing, dispensing the medicines and taking up, so people are not going away. Similarly, we interviewed others also, two people who were certified and two people who were evaluators, and all four of them I have given in details. Maybe you all can read through it next time. Dr. Sharma has got the details. So they, all of them, you could just pass through the slides, Dr. Yeah, so this is another person who was certified, and his life has changed. He's earning much more. It has helped him. The next one, please. And I just want to mention, this person was an evaluator. He has set up now 4 centers for the treatment and getting a lot of people. The next one, please. This one I wanted to just show you the next. Yeah, this is a photograph. I myself went to interview this person. Right on the left is the person who's standing. He's a traditional healer. He started, he treats paralytic patients, and on the extreme right is a person sitting behind on the bicycle. I've seen him myself. He was paralyzed. He came to him thrice, and later on now he is able to come all the way from Nasik to this place to get treated, and he's finding it very, very. We interviewed this patient also, and this traditional healer who was certified, now he's getting so many patients that he has to, his son also has left job in Bombay and has come to help him. So this is the success story, or in a way, how the scheme has helped the traditional healers. So I just wanted to bring to you this. It has been published in Pharma Biz twice, I think, this whole story. Somehow they also approached it. And now, right now on the QCI website, you can see all from all these states, 419 TCHPs have been certified, and all the details, their contact numbers, names, and all details are there on the QCI website. The next one, please. And all these findings, somehow I did not approach anyone, but these people have approached us for publications, and these have come out as book chapters, in one in 2012, recently in 2019, and one is in press, that is by Springer Nature Singapore. And recently IGNU has also realized this, and they have made a video on this entire certification process. IGNU were the first people to start this journey. So here ends my journey for thing, and I'm really thankful to you. I just gave you an overview of this entire scheme and where it stands. And now I think Dr. Thirunarayanan will tell you all the nitty-gritty details. Thank you so much.